Hey everyone, it's Dyanne here from Decoeasy and welcome to the Sign Wednesday challenge. A challenge hosted by Decoeasy, Janny and me, and Eileen from Crafty Laney. What I'm going to do, I'm going to transform this cute little, how do you call this thing, tray and this plastic plate into two cute signs for the kitchen. Now, what I'm going to do, first I'm going to Mod Podge this item here, because as you can see here in the light, it is extremely shiny and smooth, and I want to get rid of that because I want to paint this thing here, but without, you know, starting to leak and paint not attaching. So I'm first going to Mod Podge this thing here. Okay, time to take the Mod Podge. I'm using real Mod Podge, not fake, cheap, artificial dupes. Because I really want the paint to attach firmly and not, you know, make stains or weird things in the surface. I did this before with the same kind of plate, and that plate now it looks really cute inside of my kitchen as a tray, a cake standard. Just take out your brush, brush out the Mod Podge nice and evenly throughout the whole plate. And then you have a really cute base where you can later paint on. As I said, I'm going to make two signs for the kitchen today. I think I'm doing it in a farmhouse style because that is a style that I still like after all these years. And you don't see that much farmhouse actually here in the Netherlands. It mostly is, you know, the industrial look. Okay, now it's time to let this thing dry. Yeah, I also got to do the back part, so I'm going to do that, and when everything is dry, I will see you back here. Whole thing is covered back and front in Mod Podge. Now I'm going to paint it here with this gray chalk paint. Everything you see, by the way, here in this DIY comes from the shop Action here in the Netherlands. For those who don't know, it is a similar shop to a Dollar Tree in the United States. First going to paint the back part. Just pouring some paint over it. Take a clean brush and then start spreading it out. The coverage of this paint is pretty good. However, Jenny and I have experience with other chalk paint from Action, the white one. We might have seen it before in our video. That one doesn't cover up in a great way, to be honest. So yeah, we're not in lockdown anymore. Luckily, we can shop here for a while now. But we try to avoid busy places, and you know, they have a construction market in another town near here. That one sells really good paint, but we got to drive for it, and it's always a busy place. There are always a lot of people there. So yeah, after, well, the COVID, what do you call that, restrictions are over, we'll want to try to visit that shop. And hopefully we can get some better paint there, because yeah, we are not really enthusiastic about the white chalk paint. However, I'm going to use it in this DIY because I simply don't have another option. Yeah, well, the thing is, I want to give this thing a worn look this time. But for that we need to, you know, put a little bit of whitewash layer on top of it. And hopefully I can do that with white chalk paint. Because it's chalk paint on chalk paint. I can also use acrylic paint, but I'm not really an fan of using acrylic paint for covering up things and giving them a vintage look. But that's my opinion. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to write it down in the comment sections below. And Jenny and I are really curious about advice you can give us. So, time to let this dry. After it's dry, I'm going to flip it and then paint the front part. Okay, it's dry. Time to flip it carefully over. Using an old can here on the bottom. Okay, time to do the front part. Just pour some paint here. I think this is enough. If we need more, we can always apply more. And start brushing it out. What I try to do is brush it out in one direction throughout the whole plate here. First cover up the sides, don't forget them. Round now? I think we are. So now we can start brushing carefully. Don't press too hard because otherwise I flip my plate over because the thing is really light. Jenny and I went shopping and I think this plate costed 80 € or something. It's really cheap. And for the second sign, you can see it in the side, the white tree. I think that one was, well, maximum €3, not more. Don't know if those prices are cheap, but yeah, we like it, so we bought it. Okay, one layer is enough for this paint. Luckily, maybe I used a little bit too much. Going back from that side to here, because this edge here also likes to be covered up in enough paint. And then we let it dry. I think 1 hour is enough. Just like so. The gray plate is drying. Time to start with this really cute wooden tray from Action. It was very tiny. It was also available with flowers inside, but just wanted a plain one. I'm going to transform it here with this blackboard paint. Maybe I can better turn it upside down first. Yeah, I think I'm going to find myself a cup or something that I can place underneath here so I can better paint the bottom section of the tray. Here, just an ordinary coffee mug. Almost don't use this kind of mug. Now you can also easily turn it around because the surface on top is flat. Now this paint is really nice because you don't need that much of the paint. Let me show you how good the coverage is. Look. This is just insane stuff. Jen and I use this paint a lot in our DIYs because you don't need that much of paint. It isn't too expensive. I think a can like this costs €4 or €5, something like that. But almost every DIY, one layer is enough for us. Look, very nice. Okay, time to do the other side. And this way we continue working. Oh, that must be Johnny texting me. And this way we'll work first with the bottom part, let it dry. You could even use, a blow dryer, which you use for your hair to intensify the drying process. With this paint, that works kind of great. With the chalk paint I just used, you better don't do, the blow drying part, because then you ruin up the whole paint, is my experience. But if you have a better suggestion, please feel free to write it down in the comment section. Jenny, I love to learn from you. We can always use some extra advice. Okay. I'll let it dry. It's quite warm today, so I'm not going to blow dry. I think this is dry soon enough. Well, the whole paint turned matte, so it is dry now. Yeah, it is dry. Let me carefully hold this thing while flipping it over. Remove the coffee cup. Time to paint the inside. Oh, I thought I covered up everything in paint while doing the bottom part. Not really. I can see this angle. Just going to redo that, no problem. Because we want everything to be nice and black. Okay, the top part is done too. Drying time. Oh, I forgot here's something. Yeah, no. Spread out the paint in the same direction. Then you can let it dry. This tray is done. The gray one is drying still. What I want to do, I put some nice farmhouse letters. You can see it here. I have 3 different parts where I can put my letters in. So I'm going to measure how large each plate here is. And then I know how large my letters can be. I think I'm going to Pinterest for some inspiration. You'll see what print I'll be using. This is the printable that I want to use. The kitchen is the heart of the home. This comes from the File Hippo or Design Hippo. Anyway, I followed them on Pinterest and they have beautiful printables in all kinds of styles for all kinds of occasions. The only problem I have that the letters here are black and the background is white, so I'm going to transform that, make them white letters and a black background, so I can use it for my own design. I think in the next shot you will see how it turns out. And here we are, just as the way I wanted it to have. These black bars have the same size as the bars here, so I'm going to cut it out, and I hope that I can stay as near to the letters as possible. But yeah, I don't think I can cut out all the loose letters, so I'll be cutting here, here, around the O, here, this way. And this is, yeah, also kind of sturdy thing. I'm going to try to do it as precise as possible, but yeah, I don't have a stencil or something like that which I can use. I've never seen that here. Maybe we have to discover it in a store here, but as far as I know, this is the best solution for me now. So, time for cutting with a pair of scissors. This is the first print. I know there is a lot of black, but if you're going to put it here, it isn't that bad anymore. Of course, I've got to put a lot of Mod Podge or sealing. But yeah, this is for me the best solution if I want to put letters upon a project. Time to continue with these. The cutting work is done. These are the letters. I think they're pretty cute. Look, when I hold them in the light, of course I still have to glue them. You can see where I've been cutting. Yeah, it's just what it is. Actually, when you hold it there like this, in the shade a little bit more, you can't even see the difference between the paper and the wood. So, time to take out some Mod Podge and start gluing everything together. For this, you need Mod Podge for sealing. You can also use Mod Podge, but I'm using this cheap glue. 15 times cheaper here than Mod Podge. So yeah, and of course a small brush. I have 1 extra brush here to brush out air bubbles if necessary. Okay, let's take a seat and the camera adjusted. Zoom in a little bit more so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, flip this thing over. Pouring just a little bit of glue here. And stop brushing it out. I'm using a lot of glue, I know. I'm gonna wipe away any excess glue that I don't need, just with the brush. Now, hopefully this works. Be careful because you now can rip apart the whole thing. This is the part where I'll always get nervous. Line out the letters. Luckily, this is Mod Podge and not, oh, shaky fingers. Not some real stuff, weird stuff that fits in at once. I hope this is straight now. Yeah, I think it is. Now, start from the inside and brush away any air that might have got underneath your design. And there we have the first letters. Time to do the second two. I'm just doing the same thing now. Time to put in the last one. doing this. Always when I am doing this, I get so shaky because I'm nervous that I mess things up. I can't see if it is straight or not. Not completely. I think it is now. Oh, some air here. Ain't this a cute sign? Okay, I think the glue is now dry, so I'm going to seal it with real Mod Podge. You don't need to seal with the cheaper Mod Podge because, yeah, as I said, it ruins up your ink completely. So take a new brush. Oh, put a little bit too much Mod Podge. And just start carefully, because I don't want to spill any Mod Podge upon the wood itself. Carefully going to put it upon the print. So you have a water resistant, or actually not complete water resistant. This is the Outdoor Muse Mod Podge, but a little more protection for your project. The black tray is drying. Time to give this plate, which is dry, a vintage look. You need a brush, and I'm using white chalk paint from Action, and a towel. You can see I've been trying to distress things before. Yeah, just let's get started and see how it turns. Just take some paint on your brush, not too much. Now I'm seeing this, I think I've been doing better using a darker towel, just dab, and now I think I'm going to carefully put some paint on the plate. Always in the same direction, because otherwise you don't stimulate, you know, the wooden design is the texture of wood. Yeah, that was what I'm trying to say. No idea what I'm doing, actually. Just having fun with a towel and some paint. Just going back and forth. See how it turns out when it gets dry, if you can still see what is going on there. Maybe it dries up way much wider than I can see it now. Don't know if I'm doing it right thing. Just going back and forth till I think I'm ready. Of course, I still got to do the edges here. I'm really curious what this looks like when the whole thing is dry. You can still see some chalk paint, or that everything is gone. Maybe I'm going to use another color with it. Just want to start doing it really lightly, like it's worn out. Just letting this dry. I think it needs an hour. This stuff isn't of the best quality and it takes a long time to dry. So I'll give you a close up of how it looks now. And I hope it still looks like that if it's dry. Okay, the plate is dry. The, what do you call that thing? The chalk paint turned out a little bit whiter than I had expected, but I'm very pleased with the result. Now I want to add some cutlery. Here I have wooden forks and knives. They're from the supermarket. People use them for barbecuing or something. But I'll use them for crafting. And I'm going to paint them black with this blackboard chalk paint. This is my idea for the sign. I put the fork and the knife. I'm going to need to glue them to the plate. But I will do it in a later stadium. And now I want to have some text here in the center. Not too big. I was thinking about this size. So I'm going to measure how large my image needs to be. Then I'm going to find some printable on the internet, print it out, and glue it to the plate. Okay, I found my printable. Look how cute meals and memories are made here. In a round sign. Just on a computer with some gray, some buffalo check edge, and the printable from File Hippo, Design Hippo. I still forget the name every time I try to pronounce it, but it's the same as I used for the other sign. The same company that I found the printables on Pinterest. Let's cut it out and start gluing it together. And we are done. This is what's left. Time to get a brush and the cheap Mod Podge. Just pour some on the paper. I always use a lot, maybe too much, but then it glues much easier when you do that. Take your brush and start brushing the glue all over the paper. There's glue everywhere. Oh, normally I can pick this up while dapping the brush upon the design. Okay, now hopefully I can put it in the center. Let me see, and hopefully I'm going to put it in straight. I think this is kind of centered. Yeah, it is. Okay. Take a clean brush again, and this is a round image, so I'm doing it in quarters. Now you can start brushing from the inside to the outside. Do the edges one more time, and there you go. No air bubbles. Let it dry and then seal it with the real Mod Podge. Time for sealing. Oh, the Mod Podge can is being stubborn again. Well, it's almost out of Mod Podge, so time to order a new one. Just brush out a lot of Mod Podge, only on the paper. Actually, I don't want to have it upon the paint. That the complete part needs to be covered in Mod Podge. Only the paper part where the printed image is. But that is totally up to you. If you want to do it a different way, then sure do that, because it's your project. I only found this nicer looking for this DIY because I want to give it the vintage look. And I don't think that the shining fits in there very properly. Okay, now brush it out. Once again, all in the same direction. And there you go. Now, just let it dry, and it dries up really transparent, not that with this white look it has now. Okay, while waiting for the print to dry, we can just start off with gluing the cutlery. Just like, oh, stay there. Just like this to the plate. So, turn it around like this. And now I'm going to pour it into Mod Podge on the back. Just doing everything because, to be honest, I don't know where it touches the wood or the plate. where the wood touches the plate. Just like this. Oh, of course, gotta do the knife too. I'm going to hold it like this. It's just Mod Podge upon your fingers. Nothing like, you know, paint. Okay. Now, stand up because then I can see better what I'm doing. Just putting it to the side plate. Let me check if I did it good. Is it straight now? This one needs to go a little bit lower. This is actually more. Yeah, it doesn't stick that well. Oh, well, maybe I'm doing a better way, or it just needs more Mod Podge. It's just also a solution. There you go. Yeah, it's already starting to dry. Maybe the paint that I'm using is absorbing it somehow. Oh. I think. Oh, sticky fingers now. Yeah, I think this is okay. Time to let it dry. The sign is almost ready. I only want to add a tiny black edge here around the printable. So I'm going to use this marker. This one is a glass marker, but just with a really fine tip. And I'm going to draw around. Almost there. Just like adding some more definition to the design. There we go. Now, in my opinion, it is done. It looks better with the black line just when you're adding eyeliner. This really does something good for your project. Then we still have this sign, but I wanted to add a little bit extra. I made a really cute tiny bow, and I have some sticky gum here. It is warm today, so I don't have to warm it up that much. Just hold it between your fingers to warm it up. And this stuff really works great for adding all kind of fabrics together. So I'm just going to push this here, and I want to have it on top here. So I'm just gently pushing it, and there we go. Now this one is done. And here we have the other kitchen sign. And now I have one thing for you, which is the easiest I have ever done. A quick and easy kitchen sign as a bonus item. But before I'm moving to the bonus item, first I want to tell you something more about this challenge. The Sign Wednesday challenge is hosted by us, decoeasy and Crafty. Make sure that you visit Crafty channel. Put a link down in the description box so you can check out what kind of content she makes. Just beautiful videos. You find tons of inspiration there, and Jane and I can really recommend that you visit her channel. Okay, I'm going to make a really tiny sign out of an old box here. I want to use one of these sides, so I'm going to cut it out with a knife. This is very thin cardboard, and I did that on purpose. Normally I'm the one who uses big cardboard, thick cardboard. Not today. Cut these edges off here too. You don't need expensive things for this DIY. You can use old trash and make it something nice and cozy for your home. Maybe you have a cute vacation home that you want to decorate, or you know, a mobile home. Okay, now let's start painting the paint job. I'm just using the same schoolwork paint as I used for the sign tray. You can also, by the way, use thicker cardboard, but this one is for me easier and better for this DIY because it doesn't have, you know, thick edges that you need to style off and make it, yeah, neat. And that is always what I find difficult about sign making from cardboard. You always see the edge, and believe me, I'm not that good in working that away, finishing that off. Okay, trying to spread out for the last time, then letting it dry. There you go. Just let it dry. I think half an hour is enough for this one. The paper is dry, and I found this really cute sign. Bless this kitchen and I'll enter. Time to cut it out, and then I'm going to Mod Podge it upon the cardboard. Just made the entire background black so you don't have to cut in weird ways, if you know what I mean. Okay, and this should fit in here. And it does. Not completely, but that was just what I wanted. Now, time to Mod Podge or glue this thing to the cardboard. I'm using a lot of glue because I want to Mod Podge the entire cardboard. That isn't too much work. And you also have a nice protected layer around your project. Okay. Always have to do this while standing. Make sure that it is in the center. Yeah, it is. Take your other brush, start brushing from inside out to get rid of any stubborn air bubbles underneath your paper. And now just let this thing dry. Mod Podges, the glue is dry, so I'm going to Mod Podge the whole cardboard now. And I'm going to do that with real Mod Podge, just because the quality of this stuff is higher than the quality of the dupe from Action. One thick layer, that way, and here too. And really, this can't just go wrong. Trust me, take your time for this. If you find it hard to craft, do it with your kids, other family members. You can make the cutest things out of cardboard. Just let it dry now for, I think, half an hour is enough. The cardboard is almost dry, so I'm letting that dry. Last thing you need is a string to hang up your sign. I'm going to use twine for this job. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do this really easy. Make 2 knots. Actually, I think 1 is enough for this job. Yeah, well, the problem is now I have to wait till it's dry, so yeah, just want to show you, I'm going to make a knot. I'm going to do it on the back side, you know, put it here. Put some tape over this part so that the knot holds it together, it can't go up. Then make the string as long as you want. Go down here, make a knot again, cut it off, and again put some tape here over the part on top of the knot here, so not just on the knot but above here, and then it can hang. Okay, the glue is dry. Put it up on the table. Going to zoom in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. Let me check what's the top. Yeah, this is the top. Lay it here. Get some tape. Don't put the tape around the corner because you're going to see that. I think this is a better idea. First putting the tape upon the twine, so it can perfectly outline the tape. Press it here, and now look, it can't go up anymore. I want the string to be this long. So I think I'm going to cut it off here. Then again, make a knot. One is enough for this twine. Don't need to do two. Just make it real and tight. Put this upon the table. Take some tape again. Oh, I have a little bit sticky fingers because of the Mod Podge that I've been using. And there you go. Just as easy as that, and it looks pretty cute here together with the cord. Here is the cord. Ain't this sweet? Just your own tiny sign made out of cardboard, a little bit of twine and paper and glue. You can hang this everywhere in your home with any text upon it. You can hang this for your bathroom, toilet, living room, bedroom, wherever you want to. You can put it everywhere. Just for an inspiration, you can choose your own print. Maybe you have a stencil machine, then it is a little bit easier to do. I don't have it, so I'm always using a print. And here are the 3 DIYs for the Sign Wednesday of today. Let us know in the comment section what you think of it. Don't forget to check out Crafty Eleenie's channel in the link in the description box. In the description box you'll also find a link to the whole playlist so you can see what other creators made for this Sign Wednesday. And we hope you had fun watching it today. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Janny and I hope to see you back again next time. Bye!